Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast presenting the ANZCAR Truck Series. It is a Monday night, and we are back with the penultimate round here of the season. I am joined again by Carl Whiffy. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back here to the Truck Series. And as you said, the season is getting towards the end stages. We're here at the Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina tonight. A very tricky track that's going to test the talent of everybody out there.
I must admit, I'm not familiar with this track whatsoever, Carl. What are we looking out for tonight?
Look, the big thing is going to be going through turns 1 and 2. It's a very bumpy track. The bumps in the first couple of corners can really catch you out. Accelerating onto the back straight, really easy to lose the rear end. High banked oval, I should say, which really can give you some trouble sometimes. So expect to see people struggling a little bit with the rear end. That rear end just getting very loose on the exits of the corner. And because it's such a bumpy circuit, it's very easy to put your foot on the accelerator just a tiny bit too soon, and all of a sudden that truck will over-rotate quicker than you can say snap oversteer.
Right, well, we'll have to keep an eye out for that one. We've got a good grid here tonight, 29 trucks again. To bring us towards the last round at the moment in practice. Edward Foster is the fastest with a 23.48 ahead of Riley Curtis and Jaden Russell, currently sitting in our top 3. Of course, there is qualifying to come directly after this practice session, which ends even in around about 10 minutes time. Carl, probably a good time quickly while we can just to give an update on the point situation as it stands, remembering that there is a drop round to come out of this as well.
Absolutely. So after 10 rounds, we have Edward Foster in the lead on 394 points. Just behind him is Jason Martin, 24 points off the lead in second. Third place is Josh Micklemore, 26 points off the lead. And then we have a bit more of a gap to fourth with Nathan Clark, 104 points down. He's in joint position with Matty Raymond, so look out for that battle tonight as those two try and lock out fourth position. Sixth position is Norman Clark, 115 points off the lead. Seventh is Christopher Finlay, 126 points off the lead. Eighth, we have Gary Wellman, 143 off the lead. James Robbie is in ninth position, 144 off the lead. Joint place with Aidan Schultz. So, again, it is very, very tight towards the back. 11th is Cade Donnelly, 145. That's how close it is. There is barely any points separating the positions from sort of around about 8th position down to 17th. You know, it is really just a couple of good races can easily get you up into the top 10 if you have some good luck, and of course those drop rounds are going to be crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. So just trying to get a focus on what's going on here. I've changed my setup at home, and you know what it is when you're trying to get all this working. Yes,
the joys of technical issues are a constant joy when you are doing streaming and getting races broadcasted to the audiences across Australia and the world, of course. We thank everybody for joining us here on FGM eCast, wherever you may be. We've noticed a few people from overseas as well, and it's always a pleasure to have you with us. If you can hit that little subscribe button, it does make a big difference and helps us reach a bit of a larger audience, but we've been getting some great audiences figures as of late, so a big thank you to everybody joining us with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been really, really fantastic, the support we've been receiving, and we're certainly very thankful for it. But I think I've got myself sorted out here now. I was holding down my unmute button for the mic, and of course it was just putting a lovely big consistent letter across the screen here. So we've got that fixed now. We're back up and running. So as I said, about 8 minutes to go here in practice before we get into solo qualifying. If you've not been with us before, as they do, we run a solo qualifying session here. So the guys will be out on track 2 laps to set their fastest time. Carl, we always try and guess first or second lap here tonight. Do you reckon will be the quickest?
I'm going to go with second lap tonight. Tyres are will hold up okay. It's pretty warm out there, but on a track this length, I mean, it is a pretty long track of 1.6 kilometers long, so a mile in length. So it's a relatively long track, but you get some really good speed, and that speed builds up, of course, as you go through the lap. Getting that truck in the right position, I think people will push a little bit harder on that second lap, and they might just be able to pip the time with that second one with a little bit more confidence. Well,
only time will tell, and we've got Jason Martin now, who's jumped up to faster, so the times are continuing to fall. Let's have a quick look here at how the track looks for the evening.
So track conditions, pretty warm, 46 degrees track temperature. It gets very hot out there on the asphalt, of course. It's only 21 degrees Celsius for the air temperature, though, and it will drop a little bit as the race goes on and the cloud cover starts to form a little bit. Of course, it won't go to full darkness because we don't have any floodlights here. So obviously, the lights on the front of these trucks don't do much if you're trying to use them. They are just basically stickers, as is most things in NASCAR. But that track temperature will start to fall a little bit as the race goes on, as it gets a little bit later in the day. But it is going to be pretty warm out there. So that track temperature is going to bake off a little bit at the early stages, and that could cause a little bit of trouble, especially for the right-hand side tyres. So keeping the right-hand side tyres are going to be a critical thing to do tonight, and that's going to be something that's probably going to pay off for some of the more experienced drivers in the field. We've seen how often those drivers can just ease those tyres off a little bit and keep a little bit left in the later runs to try and get a little bit more speed out there. Wouldn't be surprised to see everybody jumping in if there is a caution in the first 50 laps. Probably around about lap 30 onwards would see people actually starting to look at coming in for those fresh tyres, because there is a limit of 4 sets of tyres tonight for the race. Sorry, it's an unlimited set of tyres tonight for the race. Sorry, used to cup too much sometimes. So that does mean that they have got unlimited sets of tyres tonight, and that can sometimes catch a few drivers out, because if you don't check the notes and just don't realise that, you sort of may stick it out there thinking, I'm going to be smart, save a set of tyres towards the end of the race, and then all of a sudden everybody comes in and you're stuck out there on some very old, worn rubber tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something to look out for. I think I've got my mic fixed now. It's just one of those nights tonight, but that's all right. They're all out of the way early now, so they're done. And I'll be able to help you out now, Carl, rather than leaving you just there hanging. I was talking and nothing was actually happening. So just...
Yeah, he's going to want to really try and get a good night out there, just so he can catch his teammate. There's only 2 points 2 points between himself and Jason Martin at the moment in that championship. And we know with Mitch Motorsport, they love to race each other. They love to try and prove who is the team leader in that team by basically being the car that wins the championship. That's how you earn the role of being the top dog in Mitch Motorsport. But you see there, Josh Mickelmore just losing that rear end coming through turn number 2. That's something I was warning about all night. It's very easy to do. It's very easy to loop it through there. In a race situation, that's going to cost you a huge amount, of course. But yeah, the Mitch Motorsport team is definitely on, but they've got to catch Edward Foster, who has got a decent lead at the moment. He's got no wins this year in the Truck Series. He's just up there with consistency with those 7 top 5 finishes. 9 out of his 10 race finishes this season in the trucks have been in the top 10.
Yeah, and we spoke about it last week. That's how Steve Williams got away and ended up taking out this championship in season 1. So he was just nice and consistent. Luke Traher had some good wins, missed a couple of rounds, but Williams just in and out every week, and able to carry away with the championship. So Edward Foster here, hoping to replicate that if he can to take out the championship.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different after the drop rounds, of course, and that's going to be the thing that's going to be playing on Foster's mind, as he wants to get some good results, some good, strong top 3 finishes, possibly a win under his belt. So when that drop round comes, he will have a little bit more strength in his overall performance to help him out there. Stephen Williams, of course, taking out the win in the second race of the season last season in the trucks, of course. I think it was, I'm trying to think where it was actually now. But with Stevie Dub did take out a victory, of course, in that year, so that did help him out a little bit. Without that win, it can become a lot harder.
And next week, of course, we head to Phoenix for the final round. So will that be playing much on the drivers' minds, do you think?
But Phoenix is one of those tracks again. It can be a little bit tricky, but so can Rockingham. These are both very tricky tracks for the final 2 rounds where you really can't afford a mistake. You're going to want to be running it right at the front of the field to try and avoid any mid-pack shenanigans and incidents, really. And Phoenix definitely is one of those tracks where disaster can come very quickly. I think Foster's going to be one of the drivers that's actually looking forward to that, because he does tend to go well at Phoenix.
Fair enough. Well, we'll have to have a watch for that next weekend, of course, or next week, of course. Plenty still coming up this week on FGM eCars. Tomorrow night we do have the Oz Pro Am Sim Series, and that is coming from Road Atlanta, where we have our first endurance race of the season 4. That means we're a third of the way through the season already. My goodness me, that one is flying along. So do join us on that one at 7:45, and then Wednesday night we're back for the Xfinity Series as well. So no Cup this Thursday night. We've got the week off, Carl, on Thursday, so looking forward to that. But we've got plenty of racing between now and then.
Yeah, that's it. One of those odd off weeks for us where we actually get a free night in the week, which is very strange. We don't know what to do with ourselves. It was Miami Speedway, Homestead, of course, where Stevie Dog got that win last season. Just had to look that up on my record sheets, because that was going to annoy me all race long otherwise. But yeah, as I said, getting a win, it does help me. We're going to have plenty of action this week. Looking forward to Road Atlanta. That's a great track to go to. Really, really fun race, and being an endurance race as well changes everything up. Of course, Xfinity this week going to be another interesting race, somewhere a little bit different, and of course the drivers not having to worry about the Cup race the next night. It will make things relatively less stressful, of course.
Yeah, will it? I mean, a number of the drivers, I don't know how many. We've got the 24-hour Spa event on this weekend on iRacing as well, so I'm not sure how many of the drivers will be running in that, but we might ask a couple of them throughout the week. We're just about to get to the end of practice. It's going to tick 0. Everything will disappear. Got to pick a driver this week, Carl. Maybe we can have commentator's choice this week. You can pick who we're going to ride on board with for our flying lap.
Oh, this is just going to curse somebody for their flying lap. I'm going to go with Lachlan Oakvia, because he's had some really good pace in practice, and we'll see if he jumps out relatively quickly, and I'll see if I can put the curse on him. I apologise in advance, Lockie. Let's see. He might be just hiding away in the pit lane, waiting a little bit of time because he knows that curse is coming. Nope, there he is. Lachlan Oakvia going to come out right here. So Lockie's been having quite a good run in practice. I think he finished in 4th position there, so he's going to want to get a good qualifying result out here. And get a good result under his belt, of course. ARCA Series champion for ANZCAR this year, so he has got some pedigree underneath him, but he wants to try and get some more wins. So we're going to come up to the first corner here. You can see how bumpy it is from Lockie's view. Getting down low, just going to swing that rear out a little bit, get the car around, get on the power early. He just tags that wall. The curse has been hit for Lockie already. I am so sorry, Lachlan.
All right, well, let's shift along here. We'll have a look at Aidan Schultz and see how he's getting on in the Crank Esports 52 entry. And Aidan's been knocking on the door a little bit of late. He's had some bad luck again in that 52 entry. But looking strong at the moment. He's coming around to complete his 2nd lap, currently sitting in 2nd place. And does he go quicker? 23.27. He does, improves to a 23.57. Almost synchronised with Ed Foster, who jumps up into a 23.54 as his fastest lap. So currently Aidan sitting 3rd. A good effort from him.
Yeah, Jaden Russell just pipping to the post, just getting up there. Really nice run from Jaden Russell. Again, very, very quick. We've seen that from Russell. He lacks a little bit of experience in the overall pace, but he is very, very quick in the short run, and he can set some very good times. On board with Jason Martin now, the 21. Of course, he's going to want to try and get a good run out here. It's going to get up nice and close to the wall on the start-finish. On the back straight. Coming into the final couple of corners now. The turns 3 and 4 are not as bad as turns 1 and 2. You've got a little bit more room on the outside there, but you can just run the car a little bit lower as well. It's just a little bit easier sometimes when you're getting that car in on those final corners. It's a bit of a strange shaped track, this one as well. It's a little bit of a D shape. The back straight has a little bit of curvature sort of inwards, so sort of curves a little bit to the left when you're running down it, so it can catch a few drivers out and that's why that turn 1 and 2 can really, really catch you out with Luke Trahare here as well. So the back sort of straight has got a little bit of curvature down, and that brings that wall a little bit closer. It's almost like a bow shape across this back straight here, and it's very easy to make a mistake. Then you come through these final 2 corners onto the front straight here, and you've got a little bit more room to go up and out here, so you don't have to worry too much about that wall. You can take a little bit more breathing room, get a little bit higher, and run a little bit cleaner through there. So it just gives you that little bit of extra space to get your foot down and get a good lap in. Lachlan Urquhart managed to jump up to P3 while he was unseen. So I did say he had some good form and some good pace out there, and he's shown it by getting up into P3. But what can Luke Trahare do on his second lap? Will he be able to jump himself up higher? He does indeed, up into P8.
Good run there from Luke. He'll be happy to get that one in. We've just got about a minute and a half left now. It looks like everyone who is going to run has run. So the order here won't change too much.
Now we should be looking pretty good for everything set as it is. We just need to wait for that clock to tick over now before we can get everything working with the screens. I think we're going to see probably Michael Shaw, Brent Hobbs, Matty Raymond starting his usual position way down the back of the field, and Riley Curtis looking like he's going to want to try and start at the back as well. Just keep out of a little bit of early action shenanigans. Try and get through the race nice and clean for those guys.
Yeah, we're just going to wait for this to tick over now. We've got about a minute here before things will start to get hairy.
Yeah, it's, as always, going to be a pretty hairy start. I think it's going to be one of those starts where it might get a little bit tough down the midfield pack, and that's where you sort of tend to struggle a little bit early on in this sort of races down in the midfield. We were running the 87 cars here a while back when it was sort of in the early stages of those cars coming out, and yeah, it was a very fun race, very different race, of course, but down the midfield, it did get very, very close, very, very quick here at the Rock.
Why is it called the Rock? Built into the side of a rock?
Oh, it's Rockingham Speedway, of course.
Oh, what? Of course. How could I miss that? Thought there might have been something deeper to it than that, but obviously not. But that's okay. So we're here now, and this is the penultimate round, as I mentioned before, of the ANZCAR Truck Series Season 2 2021. So we're just waiting for the grid to come up on screen now, and we'll have a big look at that. And there it goes. I don't know why it says Cup on that. That's a
So running through the starting order, front row is Jason Martin with Jaden Russell alongside him. Second row we have Lachlan Urquhart with Edward Foster. Third row is Aidan Schultz with Kay Donnelly. Fourth is Nelman Clark, Luke Trahare. Fifth, Troy Davidson, Dwayne Priest. Sixth we have Nathan Clark, Ben Vickers. Seventh is Gary Wellman, Stephen Williams. Eighth we have Philip Howe and Aaron Dillon. Ninth we have Christopher Finlay, Paul Jackson. 10th Mick Taylor, Josh Micklemore. 11th we have Bob Cleveland and Tristan Koch. 12th, we have Noddy Tompkins and Igor Burkick. 12th is Rollock and Raymond. Then we have Hobbs, Curtis, and Shaw should be at the back of the grid there. So should be a pretty fun race. It often is here at Rockingham Speedway, of course, the famous speedway down in North Carolina. Not the one that's in the UK, of course. That sometimes confuses me when I'm talking about things like that from back in the day. But Jason Martin's going to be up on pole. Somewhere we've seen Jason Martin many times, and he's going to be looking to try and close out this one with a victory to help his championship standings out.
Yeah, he's another one who's had a really strong couple of weeks. So there's a few favourites here tonight. Lachlan Urquhart, good to see him jump up into P3 with a strong qualifying effort as well. He'll be pretty pleased with that. He's been caught up again down in the mid-pack a little bit of late, so he won't be disappointed at all. No surprises, Riley Curtis down the back of the field, and I mean that absolutely positively. Watch him make his way up through the field like he normally does, along with Matty Raymond. Those two just managed to make their way quietly up through the field and always seem to just lurk around that top 10 at around about the right time during the race. So keep an eye out for them. That will happen. I would almost put money on it. Gary Wellman's jumped to pits. Not sure what's going on there. Same with Aaron Dillon. So they may be choosing to start from pit lane this time around. Not too sure on the strategy there, but we'll have a look at that as the race progresses. Jason Martin gets us away behind the pace truck for what will end up being the start of lap 1 of 115 here tonight at the Rock.
Yeah, a lot of laps to go. Of course, they're not very long laps in the series, but they still take it out of you. They are laps that absolutely do wreck your arms as you're going around there, and the bumps here are just so brutal. It's so easy to have mistakes here and just struggle a little bit. So expect to see that. I'm just wondering if just a quick look at something.
So tips for tonight. Look, I'm going to go out here and say Ed Foster 53 for the win. He'll probably curse me for saying that he's going to have a win tonight, but I just feel like this place might suit him. It's a driver's track.
Yeah, I think Foster is going to want to go strong, but I'm going to go Jason Martin. I know, not a big surprise. Jason Martin up the front. He's going to drop the hammer, goes on the green, gets a good start. Jaden Russell is right by the side of him at the moment. See ANZCAR getting a little bit of a better start on Foster. He's going to try to get down the inside with Schultz just behind him at the moment. But Jason Martin manages to slot up on the inside, up on the front there, get in front of Jaden Russell at the moment. Clean start by all as it stands. Few cars just getting a little bit squirrely very much in the background, but keeping it going. At the moment, Jason Martin's going to lead. Jaden Russell's going to be second. He's going to try and get a little bit of a slingshot here, try and get a little bit of a better run off that final corner, see if he can't keep Martin honest at the moment. Foster's managed to sit up there into third position. Lachlan Urquhart in fourth.
Yeah, good strong start from everybody here. So we're wanting to just get away to a nice comfortable run, get into a groove here, make sure that they can get their way through to that sort of critical halfway point if there are no cautions, make the run to the end. So
as we've got Troy Davidson going around in the background, he's managed to keep it going for the moment, but a big moment there. He just got
no, he hasn't.
By Nathan
no, he hasn't.
Clark,
he's now down in the
wall.
wall.
The caution is out.
He's just ended up down in the wall there, unfortunately. I think that might have impacted on somebody else as well. I'm just trying to see who that was down in the inside there. I think it might have been Mick Taylor. It is indeed Mick Taylor off down on the inside there. And that is not the outcome he was looking for either. Let's go back and have a look at it.
Yeah, so looks like a little bit of damage caught out Davidson there. So he's just coming into the corner. So this is the end result here. But he got caught by Nathan Clark a little bit further back, which had Ben Vickers go into the side of him. Ben Vickers getting caught up in that incident as well in the 77. And then Troy Davidson tried to get on the accelerator, could not get it stuck. He almost went into the back of Josh Micklemore and then went up into Mick Taylor. Mick Taylor just then got launched into his teammate. And yeah, that was a nasty, ugly little accident there towards the end.
Yeah, that's taking a number out. So there's 3 drivers there who look like their night is over. The motor's toast on the 80 of Noddy Tompkins, and Mick Taylor jumped straight back to pits. Gary Wellman as well with a similar issue. So a couple out early on here.
Yeah, Igor Burkett got caught up in that pretty nastily as well. His front end's got pretty wiped out. So that is the perils of starting down a little bit low. Yeah, look, I think we'll probably see Troy Davidson kicking himself for that one because he just lost control at the wrong moment there, poor guy. And it's just getting back on the accelerator after that incident. I think he may have had a bit of suspension damage, and then all of a sudden the truck's just decided, nope, I'm going to turn differently how you used to. And then that's caused an even bigger wreck. So this is going to give the leaders a little bit of a break for a couple of seconds as the pace truck is going to come out. Jason Martin is going to be in the lead, but we're going to see a fair few people coming in for repairs. I think we've got Gary Wellman in, Aaron Dillon. Gary Wellman and Aaron Dillon, of course, started from pit lane, I think, so that's technically why they have said they've come in. I'll just double check that one. Nope, they did come in as well under green. So they've come in for a fresh set of tyres. They weren't involved in that incident, but they've come in for a fresh set of boots. So Troy Davidson, Noddy Tompkins, Mick Taylor, and I think Michael Shaw all taken it out in that bit of a melee, unfortunately. So we've lost a few trucks already in the night. I think we might see Mick Taylor possibly looking at trying to get back out there eventually. He'll see how much damage they can get repaired on that, see if he can get himself a couple of points later on in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. So they get around here, do one more lap behind the pace truck, and then we'll get them to form up. We'll go green, running again, hopefully for a little longer. We want to get a good start here. But just not able quite to get it done there. It's a bit of a innocuous thing. I don't know whether or not something was damaged, obviously, in the back of that entry, the Gary Wellman entry, for that to then spin out like that and cause the accident.
Troy Davidson entry.
Sorry, Troy Davidson.
That's right.
Troy Davidson.
Yep. That's all right. That's all right. You had to make me think there for a second. Yeah, I've got a feeling he might have had a bit of damage there and just a little bit of suspension damage. He's put his foot down and then all of a sudden the truck's just lit up. That sort of caught him out a little bit. Of course, when you do get spun like that, your rear tyres get hot as well. It may have just been that the rear tyres just overheated a little bit, and then you put your foot down and all of a sudden they're just like ice skates.
Yeah, absolutely, but not able to unfortunately work that one way back to pits, and a few copped it as a result of that. Biggest mover so far, no surprises, Riley Curtis up 8 positions, and right behind that, of course, Josh Mickelmore up 7 places. So a couple of early movers there, but it is still Martin and Russell at the front, Lachlan Urquio and Edward Foster on that second row. No changes at the front in those front 2 rows there, and in fact really no change on row 3 as Jason Martin gets us away and he runs quickly. Jaden Russell goes right with him. Edward Foster, Lachlan Urquio get good starts as well as we go 3 wide. Back behind them there with Schultz, Donnelly and Trahair just trying to sort themselves out for position. You can see there that it looks like Aidan Schultz has managed to make his way up into the lead of that grouping, with Cade Donnelly just slotting in front of Luke Trahair and Dwayne Priest right behind him. So the train starting very quickly there, the guys getting themselves sorted out, and we get on to lap 9 at 115 here at the Rock.
Yeah, brave to go a couple of cars wide here at the Rock, especially in turns 1 and 2. As I said, it does tighten up on the exit of turn 2 quite a lot. It's very easy to have a big mistake. Very easy there to have a big accident that you don't really want to have happen at the front of the field. Luckily, we had nothing happen, so what they're going to want to do now is just try and sort themselves out into a little bit of a single file movement. Just start settling themselves down and then working out where is a good place to overtake the cars in front of you. So a lot of bumps here. It's a very bumpy track. You can see the truck's getting very unsettled here as well. And it's very easy to make a pass happen when one of those trucks gets very unsettled. Cade Donnelly trying to make that move on Lachlan Urquio at the moment. He's got his nose underneath Lockie's rear end at the moment. We make contact. Donnelly into Urquio, and that's going to bring out the caution. Urquio has gone into somebody else in the background there. I think that may have been Dwayne Priest there, unfortunately. Lachlan Urquio just could not do anything there, unfortunately, and Dwayne Priest gets caught in that as the innocent passenger in that one.
Oh, no, look there at Lachlan Urquio. Yeah, just Donnelly just getting into him, and yeah, as you say, Dwayne Priest nowhere to go there. I tell you, did a good job. Stephen Williams, just watch him here zoom just down the inside there, or outside of Urquio in the 42. So that could have been a lot worse than it was. But Dwayne Priest, unfortunately, as you said, innocent bystander in that one, and he is in pit lane as we speak.
Yeah, not much you can do in a situation like that when a truck is going sideways around. I mean, you can slam on the brakes in that position, but unfortunately they're not going to do much. The wheels are just going to lock up and you're just going to keep on moving anyway. So sort of just rolling it to that line and then braking on the infield is the correct position to go for, and the ideal way to crash. Not that there is any ideal way to crash, unfortunately, but that is going to really hurt Urquio there. That was, had a very quick car there tonight. Donnelly got relatively unscathed with that one. A little bit of damage on the front right. And those two is just coming to blow, of course. They'll both be making their arguments as well of, you know, look, it was my line, I was down there, and, well, you turned down in on me, and you sort of shouldn't have been down there anyway. And, you know, as always with racing drivers, they have their own opinion of what happens. And it can be a bit tricky when it first happens to work out what went on. But what we do know is we're back under caution. The yellow flag is out once again. Quite a bit of a field jumping into pit lane this time as well. So a lot of people taking advantage of getting some fresh tyres. They've done about 12 laps now. So they're going to chuck on some new boots now. See how that goes. I'd watch out for Matty Raymond. He's going to come out with some fresh boots on. We know how quick Matty Ray can be, so he could be one of those drivers that does a good stint. So we'll keep an eye on him on the restart, and we'll see how much difference there is between tyres that have done 12 laps and tyres that have done barely any.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know tyre life, the strength of how clean your truck is, two factors that are vital towards the end here. But it's been a bit of a stop-start run at the start of this one, so that'll change in a little bit in the drivers' minds the strategy for today. If this keeps going on, some of them might be thinking about that elusive no-stop strategy, Carl.
I don't think we'll see that just because of the tyre drop-off. I think if it's there's a caution every lap, then you might be able to get away with it. But once there starts getting some green flag racing, the tyre drop-off and tyre life, I think, will come to a point where they do need to pop in, especially if the rest of the field come in for tyres. So it's sort of, you're not going to gain that much advantage by sticking it out there. If we get a good long green period of about 20-25 laps, they might be able to just keep it in a sort of stage. But as soon as if a caution comes out in that period, then everybody's going to be jumping in for some fresh boots and fresh rubber. And I think those guys on those fresh tyres will have a little bit of an advantage now that they can actually make up a few places. So watch out for people like Wellman, Finley, Raymond, Dylan, Hobbs, even Bob Kleeman, and even Lachlan Oakley, although he has got that damage on his truck. It's one of those tracks where damage is not the ending factor of your night. So those fresh tyres could well give him the opportunity to get his way back up the field. Some similar surnames, same surnames. It makes things a little bit trickier to call. But yeah, luckily very, very different looking cars for those two. So that makes our life a little bit easier, of course, with Nathan Clark in Pace Syndicate and Norman Clark in Atari Autosport. So the yellow Bumblebee buzzing away back there in Norman Clark. Up the front though, we've got Martin getting a really good restart once more. It's got Jaden Russell. Foster is all over the back of Russell at the moment trying to make that move, and then there's a massive melee going on. There's a huge furball going on from Kay Donnelly down. So you got Luke Traher really trying to make a move. Nathan Clark there, Stephen Williams, Josh Micklemore trying to work his way up. Keeping an eye on those guys on fresh tyres as well. Those tyres will take a lap just to get nice and warm and ready to go. Of course, you don't have tyre warmers in NASCAR, so you go out on rock hard cold tyres and you have to warm them up yourself. So sometimes they do take a lap just to get into a stage where they start working. But we'll see how much difference there is in that tyre life, and we'll see if that starts to help them out. But of course, they have to make their way through a lot of cars in that field. There's a lot of trucks that you have to make your way past at the moment. Gary Wellman at the moment, though, is doing a good job. Just getting past Ben Vickers, going down the inside. He's got his teammate Aaron Dillon all over his back at the moment. They're catching up to Norman Clark too. So watch these guys start charging their way through the field. They can use a bit of a lower line at the moment. So they've got a little bit of extra grip that they can take advantage of. Very close there in the background between Vickers and Dillon. But they're keeping their trucks nice and close. Wellman getting a good run on Norman Clark as well. So those fresh tyres are helping out a little bit, giving him a little bit more grip on the exit of the corner, so he can get a little bit more drive out the corner and get a bit of a run there as all Dillon and Clark make contact. They managed to keep it going. Dylan just running up a little bit high and sideswiping into Norman Clark there, but they both kept the trucks going at the moment. You can see on screen at the moment Luke Trahere doing a good job of battling away with Nathan Clark, keeping him off his tail. Riley Curtis, meanwhile, is on an absolute storm. He is just getting up towards the back of Josh Mickelmore. You can see it in the background of the screen there. So quite a few good fights going on at the moment throughout the field. Just keeping an eye on which one is going to be the best to watch.
All
Yeah, Jaden Russell has shown some absolute great pace this season, and he is very, very quick. It's just over the long run sometimes does struggle a little bit, as I see down on the infield.
Yeah, it looks like Troy Davison maybe down there.
Yeah, just coming out to see how his truck's going. And I think he's going to come straight back into pit lane. I think he's gone, nope, this thing is not going to want to turn at all. So he's given up a little bit. Igor Burkitt has got back out on the track. He's got Jason Martin and Jaden Russell coming up on him now. He's going to pull down right to the bottom there and let those guys get past. He's a little bit too slow to do much in that effect. But Nathan Clark is making a move at the moment on Mr. Luke Trahere. And you can see Stevie Dub is thinking, look, I want to get in on this, as he's looking to go free wide at the moment. He's going to go down the inside there, just making a little bit of a sniff on Nathan Clark. Can't quite make it work. Luke Trahere keeping up in that P6 position at the moment. Nathan Clark putting all kinds of pressure on him, but that's given Stephen Williams the chance to get right back up onto their tail. A couple of cars behind, you've got Gary Wellman all over the back of Riley Curtis now on those fresher tyres. So those fresher tyres seem to be paying off a little bit, and they are definitely not hurting the pace of the guys on them. So it'll be interesting to see how they do as these laps count down. 27 laps done now. We've got 88 remaining of this race.
Just looking on board here with the left-hand front wheel of Stevie Dub. Having a look at the nose as well. Gives us a really, you just see there on screen just how bumpy the track is. The camera, they're just going up and down. It's like you're on a really bad roller coaster ride, but you can see that's what they've got to deal with. I'm feeling that all the way through the steering wheel, having to try and control that, and that's why tyre wear as well. You can just hear the tyre scrubbing a little bit there as Stevie Dub gets through turn one, and I apologise for that. It gets through the last corner as he crosses the start-finish line there. So it's just really bumpy track, difficult to manage, unsettles the truck a little bit, and the driver's here doing a really good job as he tries to close up. Oh, the gap's just slammed shut there right in front of us by Nathan Clark, as he says, no, if you don't mind, Stevie, I'm just here trying to get past Luke at the moment, and wouldn't mind just sticking where you are for the minute, letting me do my job. But very bumpy track for them to contend with.
Yeah, this place's surface is a little bit of a roller coaster. And of course the bump, rebound and bound really do come into effect here, and it does make it a little bit harder because all of a sudden your tyres go off the track. You see right now, you've got Josh Mickelmore making the move on Nathan Clark, even trying to get down the inside there. Can't quite make it through this time round. Stevie Dub is still sitting in that position. He's just sort of sitting back, letting these guys fight a little bit, letting them burn their tyres off a little bit more. While he sits back there, just eases his tyres in a little bit more. He's just giving the car a little bit of a easier process. He's not burning up those tyres as quick as some of the other guys. Nathan Clark getting a good run at the moment on Luke Trahere. Trahere's going to come down and just cut his nose off. You can see up in front there. And that's going to help out Josh Mickelmore get on the back of Nathan Clark as well. So this battle is really starting to heat up at the moment. You can see there, Mickelmore getting a good run off the corner. He's going to try for that inside line. Gets his nose ahead of Nathan Clark for a couple of moments. Nathan Clark's going to get the run on the outside though. Should get a little bit better traction off of the corner. Very close there between those guys. As a bit of a moment up the front with Bob Kleeman just having a little bit of a moment trying to wrestle around a very broken car. He gets very close to Jason Martin. He's managed to pull the car down, but just getting caught unaware there as some of the leaders came through. good job of noticing who they were and getting that slightly damaged truck out the way. You can see Edward Foster coming up to him right now. The battle just behind, though, is really heating up. Micklemore is absolutely flying at the moment. He's right on the back of Luke Traher, pushing away. He's going to try again to make a move. Can't quite make it this time. Just a little bit of a moment there of hesitation for Micklemore. Has to ease off a little bit, just roll off the throttle. He's going to try again to get down on Traher. Can't quite make it this time, and they're just catching up to Aiden Schultz now. So this battle has really heated up. This battle is for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th position. So there is absolutely nothing between these guys. And they are all just swarming past Aiden Schultz at the moment. Schultz getting caught up on the high line, gets caught a little bit behind Troy Davidson as he's going out just to get some laps underneath his belt. Now he's got that truck back to some form of speed. Did not help out Aiden Schultz. Person it did help out was Luke Traher. He's managed to get a really good run. They're starting to catch on Kay Donnelly as well now. So they are really pushing their way through the field at the moment, really catching up to the leaders. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one works out, because they've got some really good pace at the moment. They are absolutely flying through the field, getting up towards those top 4 positions. The top 3, meanwhile, are separated by around about 3 seconds. Jason Martin's got about a second lead over Jaden Russell, and then Jaden Russell about sort of about a second lead over Foster. So those guys are relatively spread out, but the battle behind them is absolutely thick and fast at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and we know that Traher likes to manage the tyre over the long run, so it doesn't surprise us that he's got some pace at the back end here, and Josh Micklemore's done a great job moving through the field. He's up 15 spots at the moment, and currently running in 5th, closing in on Kay Donnelly, as I think we just saw there, another one of those truck lap cars get up into the wall. I'm not too sure who that was, so I'm not going to put someone into it. I think it might have been one of the lap cars. Yeah, just get up into the wall there and just in front of the traffic. So that'll be a little bit frustrating for those guys, but of course you don't have to get out of the way here in any form of oval racing, as Luke Traher's got Nathan Clark all over him again now. So these two have been going at it for a little while. Clark, a little bit of damage on that right-hand rear corner. The way down vehicle of Luke Traher, way down podcast, that is in pristine condition. It's still my favourite livery, I think, getting around at the moment.
Yeah, you are a big fan of that, of course. Splash Liveries, I think it was, that did that one. Now going to memory mode, which is never 100% accurate, but I'm pretty sure I had Splash somewhere in there. But watch out for Gary Wellman here. He is on nice fresh tyres at the moment. He's on the freshest tyres of that group. Some 14, 15 laps younger than those around him. So it looks like he's just got a little bit more speed at the moment, and he is doing very, very nicely, keeping behind Nathan Clark at the moment. Josh Micklemore has got a good run as well. He's just catching up to Kay Donnelly as it stands. So watch out for Josh Micklemore. He's done a fantastic job. 15 positions gained in this race. We did see a couple of accidents earlier on, but the majority of those positions have been made up on track by passing. Micklemore has not done this the easy way. He is having to fight his way tooth and nail past every car. As Aiden Schultz has had a bit of a moment, I think he's had a big smash on the front of that truck. And Mick Taylor's gone around, I think, and that may have brought out the caution.
Yeah, it has indeed.
Oh, Mick Taylor and Jaden Russell. So, that was a tricky one. So yeah, looks like
oh wow,
tricky one to look at there. So Mick Taylor's just slowed down. And Jaden Russell's just not realised Mick would be there, and he's just come in a little bit too hot there at the 28 and just got caught up there. Foster very nearly getting caught up in that accident as well. That is the trouble with lap traffic. Sometimes is you can get caught out in that. I honestly call that very much a tricky one to call there, in all honesty. But I'd say Mick Taylor was just sitting down there on the low line. He was minding his own business there, and Jaden Russell came down a little bit aggressive and just got caught out with that one. So really not a fun thing to have happen. Luckily, not much damage to those cars. Foster got super lucky there. If we grab an on board with Foster, I think you'll see just how close that one got.
Yeah, so just going back a little bit further here, just to have a look at Jaden Russell first and foremost, and we'll jump on with Foster. So you can see Russell there on the exit. He's coming up towards The car in question, I might have gone back slightly a little bit too far, but that's okay. It's just coming up here. So he gets up high on him here, and Mick Taylor very much on the low line, yeah, and it looks like, I'm with you, Carl, unfortunately, it looks like Jaden's just not expected him to be there still. He's done nothing wrong, he's held the line that he was on, and he's just cut down across the front of him, so a little bit unfortunate there for him.
Yeah, that's it, and I think that's one of those moments of just slight inexperience in the oval aspect of racing. Some of these sort of slightly different tracks, especially these slightly different ovals where you do have to take some different lines, and sometimes we do see some of the faster drivers that are a little bit newer to the series get caught out by that one. Here we are on board with Foster, and look how close he gets to the back of Taylor, right sliding past there. Taylor did a great job in avoiding, same with Foster there.
It reminds me of last week in the Xfinity Series where we saw Ed Foster just give a fresh coat of paint to a cone on the way that he avoided pit lane entry. There's a photo that appeared on the social across the week as well. It's fantastic. He was millimetres away from it, millimetre perfect, to just avoid touching that cone, and did a good job there when they were throwing the dummies under cautions in the Xfinity Series last Wednesday night.
Yeah, no dummies thrown tonight, though. Everybody came into pit lane as we were watching those replays. Not much change in positions. They all sort of came out where they sort of went in. Jaden Russell is still sitting there in third place, so he dropped down a position. Not really much damage to that truck. That's the one saving grace. There's a little bit of a bent fender on the back, but nothing major for Jaden Russell, so it shouldn't lose him too much speed. So he should be all right for this restart, and he should be good for the rest of this race. So that speed will come back for him. Jason Martin, though, is going to be back in the lead, so he's going to be leading away once more, doing another restart, but this time he's going to have Foster on his outside. The people this does affect are those that had those fresh tyres in that longer run. So people like Gary Wellman, they will have lost their little bit of advantage that they had when they were, when they were running through the field there.
How's Josh Mickelmore going? He's up 15 spots, fresh tyres, clean truck, and just sitting there at the moment in 6th position. He's on the good side of the track for the restart. And yeah, how do you fancy that, Carl? A solid 46 laps from him in the Mitch Motorsport 31 entry. His teammate is the fastest on track at the moment as well. I bet he's hanging out to get up there with Jason and battle for the lead of the race.
These guys are wanting to battle out. They've got a championship to fight for as well. Foster, Martin and Mickelmore. Martin gets a good restart, gets away nicely. You can see Jaden Russell following along well there. Foster was a little bit caught napping there. He's going to lose some positions. He's going to lose positions possibly to Josh Mickelmore as well. As Foster gets caught on the outside there, it's going to be Mickelmore and Foster side by side. Mickelmore gets very tail happy. This is going to give Foster the opportunity just to slide down in front of him there. Mickelmore was a little bit low for that first lap, just got caught out a tiny bit on those slightly cooler tyres, and that cost him a little bit. What this has done is it's put Jaden Russell back into position of number 2. So despite having that accident and getting caught up in it, Jaden Russell's race has not been ruined by it. It's going to be hurt. Kate Donnelly, getting a big tank slapper behind him, the same as Aiden Schultz. Aiden Schultz going down into the wall. He's managed to save it, but more damage to the Crank Esport car of Aiden Schultz, unfortunately, but he has kept it going, most importantly, as we've got a caution out.
Yeah, another caution period there. Bob Kleeman looks like he's had an incident.
Yeah, it looks like Bob Kleeman and Aaron Dillon. So Aaron Dillon just tapped the back of Kleeman there, just caught him right in the back of the truck, and that caught him out a bit poorly. And Kleeman's going to get a bit of a penalty for that, for not holding the brakes. I can tell you that in advance. He didn't hold the brakes, and that cleaned up somebody else there. That was
Igor Burkic, I think.
Igor Burkic, I think so, yeah.
You have every right to be furious about that. That was not good driving.
Yeah, Troy Davidson almost got absolutely wrecked by that as well. So Kleeman will be getting a penalty for that one, I can say in advance, because holding the brake is a big part of oval racing. And if you don't do that, you're going to get a big slap on the wrist. So easy one to spot there, unfortunately. And again, maybe a little bit of inexperience there on Kleeman's side for not holding the brake when he should have done. So that's brought us back under caution. So caution number 4 of the night, I think.
Yeah, it is indeed.
So this is going to help out somebody like Aaron Dillon, who's going to get a lap back. So he's only going to be 2 laps down. So a few people will get some laps back, things like that, and it'll give the opportunity for a few of those drivers to come in and get a little bit of repair done to the car as well. So it gives them a chance to get a quick repair done to the vehicle, get back out there and get back racing with a little bit more speed, chuck a bit of tank tape on the front of it, make it a little bit quicker, as is the tradition in motorsport.
Absolutely, and a big welcome to anyone watching on the stream tonight. I've got a few out there again, as always, so I appreciate you tuning in to FGM eCars, your e-place for pace. Hope you're enjoying the show, and if you are, do give us a like, give us a share, and hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube as well. The channel that we're trying to grow the most, but Facebook's been the most popular of late, so see all the effort going into Facebook, all the effort going into YouTube going a little bit to waste, but no, it's always worth it. We appreciate you tuning in, and say hi. So, fourth caution of the race, give you a little bit of update of the situation as it stands. Jason Martin was our pole sitter. Jaden Russell, man next to him at the moment on track, was in P2. They've had a couple of really good restarts. There's been 4 cautions so far tonight. Biggest mover so far is Josh Mickelmore, currently sitting in 4th in the Mitch Motorsport 31 entry. Matty Raymond up 15 spots, as we predicted he would be. He's currently running in 11th. Stephen Williams in 10th. And we do also have a really good, strong run so far from the 45 of Gary Wellman, who's up 6 spots into 7th position. So there's been no real challenges for the lead at the moment. Martin's had this one a little bit to his own. You see some damage there on the 28 of Jaden Russell as we're about to go racing again. That was unfortunately self-inflicted to a certain extent, but he is back up the front now. All the drivers been through the pit lane at least once. Fresh tyres here as we will get ready to go racing at the conclusion of this lap behind the pace truck.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one here, this fun restart. As it's often the case, we'll see how this one pans out. Jason Martin is going to be, once again, leading away the pack, as he is so accustomed to doing. How is this going to catch out? Where is he going to drop the hammer? Jaden Russell trying to anticipate a little bit. I think he's just trying to get a bit of an idea of where it's going to be a good spot. The pace truck's still out, of course, but he's just trying to think, where will Jason do it? Where can I get a good launch off here? Where will be a good opportunity to try and stop Jason Martin running away with it? Of course, with ANZCAR's rules, it is the leader that goes. It's not on the green, it is on the leader. So in some series, of course, it is on the green flag. Here it is on the leader, so you have to wait until that lead car starts driving away before you put your foot down, and you have to wait till you've got across the line before you can start chopping and changing positions. But Jason Martin once again gets an okay restart, but you can see Jaden Russell at that time was a lot better. He's kept side by side with Martin. Really nice strong restart for Russell. He's going to slot in right behind Martin. Mickelmore this time getting a much better restart as well. He's got that high line now. Foster on the low line. Foster's going to have to just be squeezed a little bit. That's going to cost him a bit of time. Could see Nathan Clark making up the position on Foster. If he can't close the door, which he does, Foster manages to slot in the gap and stop Nathan Clark from making up that position. Josh Mickelmore there just getting up into 3rd position now. Mickelmore working his way right up the field, 17 positions gained now, and he's going to want to try and chase down his teammate, and that of Jason Martin, and of course Jaden Russell, the man in 2nd place, one of those newcomer drivers to the ANZCAR series that has been lighting us up with some amazing lap times and some great race pace.
Yeah, absolutely. So the guys battling away at the front here. I was just having a quick look at Williams and Trahere, which is also going on a little bit further down the pack. Trahere's just dropped off a little bit now. He's got Christopher Finlay that he is having to deal with in the Simboys 104 entry. So this is for positions 9 and 10 at the moment. They've got Matty Ray coming up behind them. He'll be loving the fact that they're battling away because it'll help him jump onto the back of the 104 entry and continue his press up. And Riley Curtis as well, up 14 spots into position 14. Again, doing a good job just moving his way up. Aiden Schultz in 13th position after his little incident before, but he'll keep fighting through here as well.
Yeah, he's going to want to try and get his way back up the field. But Aiden Schultz, of course, he's got some championship positions that he wants to keep in standings as well. He wants to make sure he can finish as high up in the championship as he possibly can, which is always the case in a series. It's trying to get the best championship position as you can over a year, but if if you can get a couple of wins in the way as well, then that always makes it much sweeter.
Yeah, absolutely. But consistency is absolutely key in taking out this championship. And that's what we're seeing at the moment from Jason Martin, who continues to dominate at the front of the pack here. He's still got Jaden Russell running with him. Josh Mickelmore starting to close down that gap as well between them, so he'll be looking to get up there and run with his teammate as well. Good to see the damage on Jaden Russell's 28 not affecting the speed of that truck too much. We'll see how much it affects the tyre wear, of course, as we get on later in the stint. So the 28 there just closing up on the back of Jason Martin again. Martin maybe playing a little bit of games here, maybe saving some tyres for later in the run as well. He doesn't have to run away with it at this point in time with 59 laps down of 115 here at the Rock, so he's got a little bit of game to manage for the balance as well.
That's it. When you're in the lead, you don't necessarily have to go absolutely flying. You just have to keep it there and keep it steady. So that's one of the big things about leading a race, is it gives you that opportunity to just manage your pace and actually manage the race pace as well. So you don't have to run it flat out. You can just run it to what you like and what you feel comfortable and confident with. And we've seen that many times from Jason Martin. Not necessarily flown away from the pack, but he's just kept it there or thereabouts. Big gap theme. Big gap has come up from 8th to 9th place at the moment. Christopher Finlay dropping off the back of Stephen Williams, and then there's a massive battle going on with Luke Trahere, Manny Raymond, Riley Curtis, Paul Jackson, Aidan Schultz at the moment. So those guys have basically restarted the battle pack a little bit further down. At the moment, I'll say Manny Ray and Riley Curtis are both looking very racy as they try and get down underneath Luke Trahere this time round. Can't quite make it this time for Riley Curtis and Manny Ray, both deciding to start at the back of the field and both wanting to try and make up as many positions as they possibly can. They are having a fun little race out there tonight, and it's not the easiest place to pass, but passing is not impossible here, as we've seen. Just got to get that car in the right position, and Riley Curtis does that there. Just goes a little bit higher in the mid corner, gets a great run off the corner, gets a good speed, and gets past Luke Trahere. Riley Curtis on an absolute flyer at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can tell you what as well, Edward Foster's gone with Josh Mickelmore here. The gap's just widened ever so slightly as Mickelmore does close in on the back of Jaden Russell to challenge for second position in this race. We're over halfway through here as well, so that'll be playing on the drivers' minds to some extent. What are they going to do as they get towards the close of this race? If it remains green for the remaining laps here, are they going to pit in? They're going to have to at some stage, we feel, but we'll keep an eye on that. So Josh Mickelmore here continuing a strong run, up 17 positions in his pursuit, I should say, of the lead of this race. He's got to contest with Jaden Russell, who's got good pace, and his teammate Jason Martin, who is on a rich vein of form as well. So let's see how this one plays out here as Edward Foster just tries to keep up with the back here, but Mickelmore now with a run on Jaden Russell. He's closing up right on the back of him here. What's he going to be able to do?
Gotta say, with the pace that Micklemore's had, he should be able to get past Russell, but Russell's no slouch. The only thing that might be hurting Russell is that little tiny bit of damage that's affecting him now, but Mickelmore has been absolutely flying all night long. Really bad qualifying results, but great race pace, and again, Mickelmore just getting underneath Russell here. They're going to be side by side coming through the corner. Russell's going to run up a little bit high here. He's going to have to lift off the accelerator to avoid the ball, and that's going to give Mickelmore that position.
Yeah, gets the job done there pretty easily. Just with that push high. Edward Foster's looking to join this party as well. Just not quite able to get there. Jaden Russell moves up into the wall again, just trying to get some pace out of that 28. See if he can get the move back again on the Mitch Motorsport 31 entry of Josh Mickelmore. This has helped Jason Martin at the front. He's checked out a little bit. He's now 1.2 seconds to the good at the front of this pack. And he's going to be able to manage his race very well with that sort of a gap. So see what can be done by the charging pack behind him to get up onto the leader and challenge for this race. You can see there as well, Josh Mickelmore already starting to open up a gap over Jaden Russell behind him.
Yeah, and Foster's going to want to try and make a move on Russell soon. He's not going to want to see those guys charging away from him. But it's a thing of what you want is not always what you get. Sometimes you can't always make it happen. He's got Nathan Clark putting pressure on him as well. Really nice run from Nathan Clark in the Pace Syndicate car there. Nathan Clark, one of the absolute top drivers on dirt. We've seen it a number of times from Nathan Clark. Not so experienced on the solid stuff and on some of the ovals, but he has been good, putting in some really solid performances with his teammate James Robbie as well, those two working very well together. But Nathan Clark has really been showing a great improvement in form this year, doing a really good job, and really coming along well with some really strong top 5, top 10 finishes. So don't discount Nathan Clark as well. He's up there as well, and he's getting some good runs in this race.
Yeah, we spoke about it earlier in the broadcast as well. I mean, that sort of form is what can bring you championships. You don't have to win races to be in the lead of this championship. It's about consistent results that deliver a championship for you. We saw it last season with Stephen Williams. We've spoken about it earlier in the broadcast. And so don't be too surprised next season if we to see Nathan Clark contesting for the championship outright, I think.
Yeah, but he's had a solid season. Of course, the win on the dirt track made a big improvement for him. That gave him a nice, solid haul of points. But he has been improving quite a fair bit. He's been really improving and showing that he has got the ability and pace on the ovals. We saw at the Super Speedway, he got a bit unlucky with his teammate. Those two getting caught up in an instant when they were looking like they could have possibly got the win. It was Gary Wellman at the end of that one that got the victory at Talladega, I think it was. They've been having some really good runs and just showing a little bit more strength as it's gone along and just improving that little bit. And that's what you need to do, is just those little steps up. And when you're running this close to somebody like Foster, it shows that you have improved a lot, because Foster is no mean slouch. He is a very quick driver, of course. Last year's ANZCAR Cup champion and the current leader in the truck series as well. Foster is not slow by any means, but Nathan Clark's going to make the move there. He's going to get up underneath Foster. Foster's going to try and get it back. They're going to go side by side down the back straight. Foster's going to try and get down on Nathan Clark on the turns 3 and 4. He manages to just cut in front of him there. Means Clark has to lift off a tiny bit. Foster just absolutely giving it no room whatsoever, but being fair in it too. So really pushing along. But Nathan Clark is hustling him at the moment and putting all the pressure he can on Foster. And this is giving Jaden Clark a chance to just get away a little bit and have some breathing room.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Stephen Williams not able to make much progress onto the back of Nathan Clark here, even despite this battle going on for 4th and 5th position. So he's 1.7 seconds further down the track. Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman having a bit of a battle, teammates here, the 40 and the 45. So we no love lost there at all. They'll be fighting as hard as they can for position 7. Cade Donnelly currently occupying that in the 40 entry. And Christopher Finlay not too far off behind them there. You can see the 104 Finlay is in the 104 Simboys entry. So he is wanting to join onto this battle as well, no doubt, and make it 3-way between the teammates.
Yeah, that's it, and I'm sure they'll be cracking a beer towards the end of the week chatting about that race as well that they're having tonight. Really good season for Simboys. They've been having a fantastic year, getting a few wins here and there as well, and showing that they've got the pace when they are absolutely on it. They are some of the quickest drivers out there. We've seen it a few times with those guys, so good running again from Simboys, up in the top 10 at the moment. Jason Martin has got a good lead at the moment. Foster is managing to catch up to Russell though, as Nathan Clark still putting pressure on him, but Foster is starting to drive a more offensive race. He's not defending as much against Clark at the moment, so he's putting a bit more speed to try and catch up to Jaden Russell, so he's not really worrying about the car behind him. And you can see this is helping Foster out because it's right on the back of Jaden Russell. He's going to try and get down the inside here across the start-finish straight. Foster's managed to get a nose ahead. He's going to try and get there. There's going to be contact between the two. Little touch there. That's going to give Nathan Clark a little bit of a run. Nathan Clark's going to be side by side with Russell. Russell's just got to ease off a little bit on the exit there because this back straight does get a little tight. It's a little bit of a bow-shaped section, so that's going to mean Foster's going to get up in front, and he should get a little bit of a lead away here. Jaden Russell now falling into the clutches of Nathan Clark.
On board here with Nathan Clark, just trying to get the job done there. You see the flame coming out of the exhaust there of the 28 entry of Jaden Russell. Good look there at the sponsors there, Synergy Sim Racing, the racing team as well, so jump on board, give them a follow and a like. And DGD Customs and JK Signs, etc., that do support those boys. Just see how bumpy this track is. Unbelievable. No wonder they've got no confidence trying to get down underneath someone.
Yeah, and this is the big thing, of course, around Rockingham, is it's so bumpy, and you do have a lot of braking involved in it. It's so easy to snatch a brake. It's one of those things, because all of a sudden, if that wheel lifts off the surface of the track when you're braking, and there's some areas on the track where that can happen. When you're up a little bit higher, there are some bigger bumps. all of a sudden that wheel will lift it off the track and then it will get locked up, and that is that for your night sometimes.
Ed Williams has just done a little sneaky. He's moved his way right up into 6th position now, and he's joined this battle here with Jaden Russell and Nathan Clark. So he's getting involved in the DPRsimrigs.com entry.
Yeah, really nice battle here between all three of these drivers. It looks like maybe Jaden Russell's just struggling a little bit towards the end of the stint. He's done almost 40 laps on these tyres now, so he's getting to a stage where those tyres are starting to get a little bit worn out. They're starting to get a little bit Larry, and this is where the whole thing of that little bit of extra experience can come in to help you when you've done a few less races on the ovals. The long stints tend to be the hard one, and it's always that long run pace that tends to suffer a little bit. Short run pace we know is very good from Jaden Russell, but can sometimes struggle a little bit in that long run, and once again we're just seeing that there. But that is something that will improve with time, and Jaden Russell is improving every time he comes out here. We've seen it time and time again. It's not going to be long before we see this guy on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there that it won't be too long at all before he does that. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Of course, one of his teammates, old Hobbo there, he has managed that a few times as well, so won't be too far away. I'm sure he's getting some help from Hobbo as well. Not that he needs too much of it, to be brutally honest. So he's currently running in 4th there. Will the drivers pit? Is that what we're going to see here? We've got under 20 to go now. Sorry, my maths is terrible there. We've got 30 or 29 to go now. Are we going to see anyone pit, do you think?
I don't think so. I think fuel's not going to be too much of an issue from here, so I think most people will stay out. Unless we get a caution, of course. If that caution flag flies, then we will see everybody coming in for a fresh set of boots. But if it remains green, I think we're going to see everybody sticking out. We might see a couple of people just come in for a safety stop just because they might be just a little bit worried that they're struggling a little bit with pace. Sometimes you can struggle a little bit. I think Cade Donnelly might be one of those drivers coming in right now who's just had a bit of a moment on the actual track. He's had a little bit of a moment actually with his teammate, I think. So him and Christopher Finley actually got into each other, and then Luke Trehair and Riley Curtis had a little bit of contact. So Cade Donnelly coming in that time round. So a little bit of damage to Luke Trehair and to Riley Curtis. Those two have settled it back out again. Riley Curtis is still sitting in P10 now. That's 18 positions gained in the race. So if he can make one more position, then he'll be the biggest gainer in the race. Josh Micklemore, of course, if he can make one more position, he'll be the leader of the race and the biggest gainer of the race.
Right, it wouldn't be too surprising if that actually happened. So Martin's just checked out a little bit at the front here. He's 3.5 seconds away from Josh Micklemore. So the guy's doing a great job in the Mitch Motorsport entries 1-2 yet again. Could basically be almost any week of the season so far to see the purple 21 entry right at the front of the track, and just managing things very, very well indeed. The Mitch Motorsport team are dominating Truck Series at the moment. 31 up 18 positions. Josh Micklemore into 2nd place, and then it is Edward Foster in 3rd. So the 25 to go here before we conclude this race on FGM eCars for you Monday night.
Yeah, just noticed Riley Curtis coming into pit lane as well, so he had a little bit of a touch with the barrier. So Riley Curtis coming in, and he stopped in that last caution, I'm pretty sure. So I think he's just coming in for a fresh set of boots and just hoping that everybody else has to come in for another stop, maybe for a quick splash and dash towards the end, something like that, and might be able to make up a few positions. Of course, not without reason. I mean, sometimes we do see these things happening, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But from the sounds of it, nobody sounds like they're trying to do any sort of major fuel saves or anything like that. So I'd be surprised if we saw anybody coming into pit lane needing a stop. But then again, we have been proven wrong so many times in the past year. It's almost like they do the opposite of what we say up here in the commentary booth.
Oh, it doesn't happen that often that we're wrong, let's be honest. No, actually, maybe not, who knows. But no, look,
I was
it's
just about to say it's generally we're wrong about as many times as a Mitch Motorsport car wins a race. I'd say so. It's not that often.
You know how it is. It's just these things happen. So, Gary, at the moment, sorry, I should say Christopher Finlay and Luke Traherne now battling away. This is positions 8 and 9 on track, and the 43 looking to make his way past the 104 of Christopher Finlay. Just a tenth between them at the moment. So the challenge is on here, as you just see there. Finlay getting high in the line, and Luke Traherne just moving his way through ever so smoothly in the 43 entry, and he's moved up into P8.
Yeah, meanwhile, Nathan Clark's dropped off a bit of pace. He's fallen down behind Stephen Williams. Stevie Dub is now chasing Jaden Russell. And Gary Wellman is on the back of Nathan Clark. He's going to want to chase him down. It's going to be a few laps before that battle starts to take hold. But watch out for Gary Wellman. We've seen he's had some really good pace in the past. Meanwhile, Kay Donnelly is just showing the difference between those fresh tyres and those old tyres, as he's just absolutely flying in the 40 at the moment, despite having a fair bit of damage. He's just showing that those fresh tyres do make a big difference out on track, as he's trying to unlap himself from many of the leaders at the moment. So he's trying to get back some lead laps at the moment after an unfortunate little bit of an accident. But Jason Martin is leading at the moment, and he has got a fairly hefty lead, almost 5 seconds over his teammate, 4.6 seconds over his teammate at the moment, Jason Martin. He's got a nice little gap between himself and Josh Micklemore, and then there's about another 4 seconds to foster back from Micklemore at the moment. Jaden Russell sort of settled down, but he has got a pretty fast charge in Stevie Dub. Stephen Williams in the 98 chasing him down at the moment, and it's probably one of the tighter battles on track as we stand. Stephen Williams doing a good job once more, again in the DPR car, just doing a very fine run in the race.
Yeah, and he's closed right back up here on the back of Jaden Russell, so there'll be a pass on here, there'll be a move come with this one, you would think, and he's just jogging on the spot for the minute, but he'll get a good run on him here. Just needs to wait and see if Jaden Russell runs a little bit high. As Carl covered at the start of the race here, it's a little bit difficult to pass here, but certainly can be done. So he'll just be biding his time, Williams, there, just right on the back of the 28. The 98simrigs.com DPR entry. Looking to see when he's going to be able to get it done. Just grabs a little bit of the apron there. Does Jaden Russell in the 28 entry. That's helped Stevie Dub get a run on here. He's not going to get it done. He's going to go high in the line and see if he can get through with the switch back. Get underneath there, get the better run off the corner. It's opened up for him here. He's got down underneath Russell. You'd expect he's going to get it done. Russell holds that higher line, so they're going to battle away here for another couple of corners. Who's going to take this position? I think you're going to see Williams move up into fourth. Truck's in better condition there, Jaden Russell, with that damage down both sides of the truck. And Stevie Williams gets, a little bit of a touch there, but Stevie Williams gets the job done. And the number 6 as well, Clark, looking to make his way through at the same time. So Russell there's just burned off those tyres. He's just struggling a little bit for grip. Nathan Clark now looking to make the move on him as well, move himself up into 5th position.
Yeah, really nice job from Stevie Dub there, just getting a bit of a tap to say, look, congratulations on that pass. I think Jaden Russell just getting caught out there just in the braking zone a little bit. No harm, no foul there really between those two, but this has given Nathan Clark the opportunity to get a run on Jaden Russell now, so Nathan Clark is going to put the pressure back on Russell. Russell, again, just seems to be struggling a little bit with the tyres towards the end of this race. We've got 13 laps remaining now, so not far to go for Jason Martin out in the lead. Josh Micklemore in second, Foster third, Stephen Williams there in 4th position. Great run, 10 positions gained for Stevie Dub. Stephen Williams, good run around the track for him tonight, and he's going to want to see what he can do, see if he can catch up a little bit to Edward Foster now, so he'll see what he can do in the remainder of this race. Yeah,
absolutely. Justin Martin's just got to manage it from here. He's a very, very experienced campaigner in the ANZCAR series, and he'll know what to do here. He's getting up on a little bit of lap traffic at the moment as he just goes past Brent Hobbs. So he's lapped everyone up to 12th position as we stand, and he's also going to just tidy up here and keep things moving forward as he needs to do. So the challenge is on for Josh Micklemore, and looks at this stage like he is going to have to settle for second place tonight to his teammate, and it's been a strong performance from him, be that as it may, as he's up 18 places, biggest mover of the night into second position.
Nathan Clark making the move on Jaden Russell a couple of laps ago. He's managed to get up there into fifth position. Russell just dropping down a little bit. He's got a bit of a gap between himself and Gary Wellman now, so he should be in a relatively good spot. But Gary Wellman is not so much, because he's got Luke Traher right round the outside of him. Luke Traher just going up round the outside, keeping his foot down. This is going to be a close one on the exit, but Traher manages to get the pass done. A beautiful job from Luke Traher there on Gary Wellman. Luke Traher just getting a fantastic little showing of pace towards the end of this race, working his way back up the field from a couple of moments back, and he's got Jaden Russell now in his sights. And I'd say that Luke, with his current pace, might just catch up to Jaden Russell towards the end of the lap. So, the end of these laps. So we might see a little bit of a battle going on between those two towards the final couple of laps.
Yeah, he's about half a second faster last time around. That includes the battle with Gary Wellman. So I expect you're right that he will get there. Luke Traher enjoys managing his tyres long into the race, so this here with this extended green flag period is really going to benefit him. You can see that in the pace differential between himself and Jaden Russell at 0.6 on the last lap around, so he will catch him. There's only under a second now between Jaden Russell and Luke Traher. Russell's rear tyres have gone off, so he's in the makings here, Luke, for a top 6.
Bit of a shout out for P10 man Paul Jackson, coming back to the trucks for the first time in a bit of time in the Altura racing team. Of course, the guys out from New Zealand, the Kiwi squad. Jackson doing a good run there from 18th position up to 10th at the moment. He's having a pretty solid run out there. He's got the race leader coming up on him very soon, Tristan Koch as well, just going underneath, just getting a lap back. But he's going to be falling a lap down to Jason Martin relatively soon. But the battle is on at the moment. Jaden Russell and Luke Traher. Luke Traher up on that outside once again. Traher trying that same move. Is he going to make it work this time round? It's going to be close as they get so close to each other on the exit of the corner. It's side by side for Traher and for Russell at the moment. But Traher's managing to keep the pace there, and Traher's got around. He's managed to slide in front of Jaden Russell there. Nice move from Luke Traher, working his way to P7.
With 5 to go, he moves up, as you say, into P7 there. You can see the benefit of the fresh tyres here as the 93 of Riley Curtis.
And we've got a battle between Foster and Williams now. Foster is side by side with Stephen Williams. Williams on that high side. Williams trying to go around the long way. Will he make it stick? He's just got to avoid that wall. He does. Very close here down the start finish straight. It's Foster, Williams side by side. Williams is going to brake a little bit later. Foster gets down a little bit earlier. It's got that in line. That low line is a little bit better. As there's contact between Williams and Foster. Foster just clipping the apron and going into Stephen Williams there. That is a real shame between those two, because they were enjoying that race, I can tell from watching there. But that's helped Nathan Clark get up into for 5th position. Just get past Stevie Dubb. Stevie Dubb not too much damage, so he shouldn't fall too far back, but he's just got to get that car going. This could be really good news for Luke Traher, who's going to catch up to him.
Almost looked like a little bit of netcode there. That damage on the right-hand rear quarter of the 53 entry of Edward Foster has disappeared. So maybe a little bit of netcode there, not even triggering an event on our software here. So we'll have to go back and have a quick look at that one if we can. But there is only 2 laps to go here, and it is Jason Martin who is going to take this one out and come around this time and collect the white flag for the penultimate round of the ANZCAR Truck Series here on FGM eCar. So we've got 1 lap to go, and it has been a start to finish lead here for Jason Martin in the 21 Mitch Motorsport entry. A fantastic drive for him to get yet another win in that famous liveried 21 Mitch Motorsport truck. He's done a fantastic job here, and he's going to take it out ahead of his teammate Josh Mickamore, who's going to come home in second. It looks like the 3rd place will go to Edward Foster. So a good run from him as Josh Mickamore gets across the line. Ed Foster is being challenged by Nathan Clark. He's just not going to get close enough to take out 3rd position. And Nathan Clark will take out 4th with Luke Traher in 5th place. A good run from all of the drivers there.
Yeah, Stephen Williams as they're getting caught out a little bit. Foster catching the apron, going up into Stevie Dubb, unfortunately. Shame for those two, but Stevie Williams down in 6th position at the end. Jaden Russell 7th, Gary Wellman 8th, 9th for Paul Jackson in the end. He did well. And Maddie Raymond in 10th position, gaining 16 positions, with Brent Hobbs as well in 11th. Both of those gaining 16 positions in the race. Second biggest gainers, of course, Josh Micklemore, 18 positions gained in that race. Fantastic job for him.
And the customary celebrations, Jason Martin will be used to doing this by now. Probably got himself a place at Summernats, I think, to unleash the fury, but doing a really, really big celebration here. Another quality drive from him, and really unchallenged, I'd say.
Yeah, he really held up any pressure that was put on him, and there was not much. It was just on some of those restarts where we saw a couple of people get a little bit close to Jason Martin, but in the end, he held out. Jason just leading from start to finish there. Great job. And Josh Micklemore managing to get up to 2nd position from 20th. Absolutely fantastic job there. So really, really nice result there for Josh Micklemore. And Foster there in 3rd. That's going to help again with his championship, but his 2 rivals in front of them, it's not going to be the help he wants. He needs to finish in front of those guys to help with this championship position, and that's going to hurt him out. Nathan Clark, another good strong run for him in 4th, with Luke Traher 5th, we said. Stephen Williams, unfortunately, in 6th for that little bit of contact. Jaden Russell, another strong result again. Another top 10 finish for Jaden Russell, showing some great pace. Just needs to get that full race pace settled, and then he is going to be one to challenge for the race wins. Gary Wellman in 8th position, with Paul Jackson 9th on his return to the trucks, and Maddie Ray in 10th position.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, another strong run here from the trucks, and next week is going to be an interesting race for us to finish out this series. So we'll have another chat here with our podium. In fact, they've all just jumped into the green room. I'm going to bring them down now. And Carl, I'll let you take it away tonight, mate.
So we'll start off, as tradition goes, with the 3rd place man, and that is Edward Foster. Congratulations on that 3rd place. So we saw there towards the end, little bit of misfortune for yourself getting down on the apron and getting caught up with Stevie Dubb.
Yeah, totally my fault. He was coming on good tyres. I had a look at my right front at the end. I only had 10% left on it, so I definitely was doing something wrong. But yeah, it was one of those where he was on the outside, I was on the inside, and I just was trying for all I was worth to hang on to that 3rd place, and I just nicked the apron and got up into him. So yeah, apologies to him, because it wasn't what I wanted to do.
Oh, look, it is sometimes the thing with racing, and especially on very old tyres. These mistakes and these little things do creep in. But another solid finish for you, another top 3 finish in the trucks at the end. Obviously, it sounded like it was not an easy run for you there, especially with the tyres.
Yeah, look, I just never got this place figured out. It was as simple as that. The boys up front obviously did. But I was coming under pressure towards the end of the race, because whatever those guys were doing was working for them, because it's bumpy track and it's quite fast, and it's you've really got the right front doesn't feel like it's really copping a pounding until the point that you realise it's dead. So, it was just, one of those things. But, P3, okay.
Congratulations on that. And as always, the usual things of shout out and love to anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight, Ed.
Yeah, of course. So congratulations for the boys sitting up there in P1 and P2. Had absolutely nothing for them at all. Not even really on the short run. So impressive stuff from those guys. But also the sponsors, FGM Cars, Bridgestone Select Race Magazine, Two Fat Blokes, and AJ Insurance Services as well. Big thanks to them, and for you guys for coming out here and commentating every week. It's awesome.
You're always welcome. Thank you so much, Edward Foster and the Sorry Sport. Congratulations again on that P3.
Thanks, mate.
Next up, we'll head to second place man and the biggest gainer of the race. 18 positions gained in that race. Josh Micklemore, congratulations on that P2 finish.
How are you guys? Yeah, it was. I was saying to Jace as we're jumping into the cars, I expect to be coming off the track on the back of a tow truck. So I'm surprised to be up here actually, but I thought I was going to get wrecked in that one. But yeah, got through the few wrecks there, pretty close, but got through it and came through second.
Yeah, we saw a couple of times where it was very, very close for you. What happened in qualifying to leave you back down there?
I just stuffed it up, was going too hard and got loose on me, and that was the end of it. Both the laps were really terrible with how loose I was, so just stuffed it up, that was all.
So what was your secret of passing tonight? Because you did it a fair few times. It wasn't all just people falling off in front of you. You had to make a fair few moves out there tonight.
Yeah, just racing on the racing line and watching people wash up the track and just go underneath them. That's all it is.
It's a secret. We'll go with that. That works. I mean, it works for you very well. I mean, you gained 18 positions out of it, so it obviously worked out well for you with that strategy.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be hard. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, but I don't know. I just did my thing.
You did your thing and you did it well, getting up to P2 at the end. Congratulations on the P2, Josh. As usual, shout out and love to sponsors.
Yes, to Jace for the win. Dominated tonight. He was about 3 seconds in front of me, so he dominated tonight. So well done, mate. BK Designs, FGM ECAS, ANZCAR, and Baxter Mum and Dad for supporting me as well.
Congratulations. Great to see you up here as always, Josh. And I'm sure I will see you again in the booth before the end of the season.
No worries. We'll see you Wednesday night.
Next up, we will head to the winner of the race, one Mr. Jason Martin of Mitch Motorsport. You looked pretty much unstoppable out there tonight.
Woohoo! Yes, finally. I don't know what it is about this track, but I've always done pretty good here.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, you have got some serious pace out there tonight, and you looked pretty much nigh unstoppable.
Yeah, I finally nailed my qualifying lap, and I finally figured out something out with this tyre, how to save tyres with this new tyre model. It's probably taken me about 6 months to figure it out, but I think I understand it now and know what to do to save tyres on a long run and still be pretty quick.
That's always a scary thing to hear from you, Jason. You figured something out, because that means that you're going to be quick again in the season. I mean, obviously, it's been a season where wins have been a little bit dry for you.
Oh, mate, I was getting sick of following that blue Mitch Motorsports car.
Just give it a little tap. That's fine. I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
Or if he was in front again, I might have had to.
Oh, look, it's good to see you guys fighting so hard, but good to see you finally get another win. Second win of this second season of trucks for yourself, and an absolute dominating one. Those restarts, how important was it getting off the line at the right time for you?
Yeah, the inside line is pretty much key here, so starting on that inside line really helps heaps. That poor guy on the outside, it's pretty hard for him, but I think it was Jaden. He was doing pretty well up there.
Yeah, unless you count him down, mate. First time I've seen two rival teams do that, but that's all right. Anyway, continue on.
Speculation there. We'll go with that one. But yeah, it was a good run there at the front, and of course, as you say, that low line did make a fair bit of difference there. Just towards the end of the race there, obviously, traffic was getting quite thick and fast. We did see a couple of times of traffic just getting a little bit scary there as well.
Yeah, I saw 3 cars battling for position, so I tried to give them a bit of room because I had a pretty handy gap. So I gave them a bit of room to race and let them sort things out. And then once they cleared off from each other a bit, I went for the pass and got by them.
It all worked out well for you in the end there, Jason. Congratulations on the victory. It's good to have you back up here in the booth, especially at the top of the field. Before I let you go, the usual shout out and love to sponsors.
Got to thank BK Designs, the boys at Mitch Motorsports. We're getting some decent results lately. And, of course, you guys at FGM eCast for broadcasting. I'm sure everyone enjoys watching the races, so thanks for that.
You're always welcome. Thank you so much, guys. I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth before the end of the season. Have a good run, and we'll hopefully see you all on Wednesday night for the Xfinity race. So another good result there, Stuart, and again, another good race. We saw a little bit of contact, a few cautions come out, in the end, some fantastic racing once again in the ANZCAR series. But
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the contact that occurred, there was a couple of little bits and pieces and sort of a gaggle of cautions that came about. But then once we got out into the open, some really, really good racing, particularly right throughout the field once again. So we saw some close battling there with Luke Trahere involved. Matty Ray doing a good job. He was up 16 spots. So a big shout out to him. Brent Hobbs as well, up 16 positions on the night. So some really good driving from those two as well. Steve Williams got unlucky there. Unusual for Foster to make a mistake, but he unfortunately got caught out there in a racing incident. And we go again next week for the final round of season 2 2021.
yeah, that's it, and it's going to be a tight one. The championship is going to definitely be very, very close towards the top there. Foster, Micklemore, and Martin are all going to be fighting it out, so I reckon we're going to see one heck of an epic battle for the final race here in the trucks.
We will, and speaking of epic battles, we're back tomorrow night from 7:45 with the AusPro-Am Sim Series for round 4, the first of our endurance rounds, and we are headed to Road Atlanta in the GT3s. Looking forward to this one of my favourite tracks. It's going to be really tight. We generally have been seeing 55 plus vehicles on track for that one, so slightly modified qualifying, same as last week with a 20-minute open session there, and really looking forward to getting into that one. It's a 70-minute endurance race. It'll be live on FGM eCars for you tomorrow night, and then we're back on Wednesday night with the Xfinity Series, Carl.
Yeah, we'll be heading to Auto Club Raceway in California. Going to be one heck of a fun race there as well. Going to be an interesting one, a good way to get the series going. So again, we'll be having some fun there, and it will be an off night for the ANZCAR Cup. So we'll actually be getting a night off for the ANZCAR Cup for once.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think there's some fun stuff going on there. So do tune back in tomorrow night from 7:45 for FGM eCast, your E-Place for Pace. Carl Withy, thank you very much for your participation tonight. To all the viewers who jumped in and had a look, make sure you follow all of our social media. There is highlights, packages, and bits and pieces that come across that as we broaden the content we're offering on that, and we do thank you very much for your support on the channel. From myself, Stuart Brown, and Carl Withy, that is it for a Monday night. We will see you tomorrow night from 7:45 on FGM eCast, your E-Place for Pace.